I'm just one of those girls that can do a lot of and not die.
I overheard her make a statement, an admissible statement, and she said, "Dominic, I'm going to crash this car."
Halloween, for 3 months after the accident, she would only wear his clothes. She would only eat the snacks he ate. She would only listen to the music he wrote, okay?
I'm not a baby. I'm so deeply sorry. I hope one day you can see I would never let this happen or do it on purpose. I wish I could remember what happened. I'm just so sorry. I'm heartbroken.
In today's episode, we'll be discussing the case of Mackenzie Shirilla, a seemingly ordinary girl from Strongsville, Ohio, one of the most prominent suburbs of Cleveland. Mackenzie was born in 2004 to parents Natalie and John. Those who know her would describe her as privileged, the kind of girl who would always get what she wanted. With just one other sibling, it wasn't unusual for Mackenzie's parents to spoil her, allowing her to pretty much have anything she wanted. This 17-year-old girl, who appeared to have dreams of becoming a social media influencer and model, was not used to hearing the word no. In fact, as she got older, her behavior started to change for the worse. The spoiled young girl was becoming a rebellious teen who didn't seem to care about any possible consequences of her actions. Past friends and acquaintances of hers have said she was only becoming more selfish, doing things that benefited her, even if that was at the expense of others. Always getting away with just about anything, Mackenzie continued to do what she wanted, believing she was untouchable. Once she started high school, she began using narcotics and breaking and entering into buildings just for the fun of it. Despite her selfish and entitled behavior, along with her use of narcotics, there was one person who thought she was a sweet girl, Dominic Russo. Dominic, born on September 24, 2001, to Christine Agnello and Frank Russo, was the youngest of 7 siblings and best known for making everyone around him smile. Most would describe him as the kind of guy who always had a smile on his face. So it was no surprise that he would put a smile on Mackenzie's face, eventually getting into a serious relationship with her. You see, from the moment she saw him, Mackenzie knew she wanted to date Dominic. He was the kind of guy that was just her type. 3 years her senior, Dominic was known for his infectious smile. He was friends with just about everyone. Those who knew him said he had major dreams for the future and wanted to make something of himself. They believed he could do anything he set his mind to simply because of his incredible personality. Dominic was the opposite of selfish. But you know what they say, opposites can easily be attracted to one another. Dominic started to fall hard for Mackenzie and enjoyed spending time with her. He felt as though she brought a sense of joy and happiness to his life, but that joy would soon fade as his relationship with Mackenzie became toxic. At the beginning of the relationship in 2021, Mackenzie played the role of an innocent, sweet girl. However, it wouldn't take long for Dominic to realize she was the jealous type. Those who knew the couple personally knew that things weren't always rainbows and butterflies, with the two often at odds with one another to the point that minor disagreements would typically escalate even further. On social media, their relationship looked amazing and things were in the beginning, but the relationship would take a turn for the worse in little to no time. Mackenzie wanted Dominic to do what she wanted. She was demanding and controlling, and Dominic didn't like it. The problems between the two continued to escalate, with Mackenzie acting out whenever she didn't get her way. Fighting both publicly and personally at home opened the eyes of those around them, with some encouraging Dominic to leave the relationship. According to one witness, a former friend of Mackenzie's who wishes to remain anonymous, Mackenzie had made violent threats in the past amid an argument with Dominic, threatening to crash her car while he was riding in the passenger seat. And while those around them thought this was just Mackenzie speaking out of anger, no one could prepare for what was yet to come. What would begin as a romantic relationship between Mackenzie and Dominic would ultimately turn into a nightmare, causing Dominic to lose his life along with a friend of his, Davian Flanagan. So what happened, and how did 2 innocent young men lose their lives? It all began with Dominic choosing to end the relationship with Mackenzie. Growing tired of the constant issues between the two, Dominic decided he wanted to take a break. He felt it was necessary, yet Mackenzie disagreed with that. Even so, Dominic held his ground and ended things with Mackenzie. It wouldn't take long for her to show up to his house, threatening to key his car if he wouldn't let her inside. Dominic recorded several of these interactions between the two, not realizing they would one day be used in a courtroom to prove that Mackenzie was obsessed with Dominic and would make sure that if she couldn't have him, no one else would. Now, keep in mind that up until this point, Mackenzie was always getting what she wanted, so the thought of not getting Dominic upset her. It got her to the point that she threatened him with violence and also begged him to take her back at the same time. When she saw that her threats and erratic behavior weren't convincing Dominic to get back together, she decided to take a different approach. In what appears to be an attempt to trick Dominic, she eventually calmed down, stopped making threats, and tried to play it cool, ensuring Dominic would want to hang out with her and spend time together. She wanted Dominic and everyone else around the couple, including Dominic's family, to believe she'd changed. It was because of her behavior change that Dominic eventually agreed to get back together with Mackenzie, and the two made the relationship public by attending a party with friends, including Davy and Flanagan. After the party ended in the early morning hours of July 31st, 2022, Mackenzie was driving around with Dominic and Davion in her 2018 Toyota Camry. Of course, this was nothing out of the ordinary because the couple had gotten back together. Most importantly, they'd gone to the party together and now seemed to be going home together. For this reason, Dominic had no reason to expect that anything unusual would occur. It's believed that at some point, Mackenzie started to act out again, proving to Dominic that she hadn't changed. Although he cared for her, he was tired of the back and forth between the two and likely had planned on ending the relationship once and for all because it just wasn't working out. However, Mackenzie wasn't going to let that happen. At around 5:30 a.m., while riding with Dominic and Davio in the car, Mackenzie drove her 2018 Toyota Camry down a 3/4-mile road, continuously pressing on the gas pedal to accelerate until her vehicle hit a speed of 100 miles per hour before crashing into a wall. What has been referred to as a hell on wheels situation would cause Dominic and Davion to die at the scene. However, Mackenzie survived the accident and would later be hospitalized for countless injuries after being trapped in the vehicle for over 45 minutes. In the aftermath of the accident, there was a lot of confusion. Parents of both Dominic and Mackenzie were attempting to communicate about the accident, not knowing what had actually transpired beforehand. And when Mackenzie discovered that the accident caused the death of her boyfriend, Dominic, she did what one would expect any grieving girlfriend to do. She posted about how much she missed him on social media for the world to see. But did she really miss him? Soon after the accident, local authorities began looking into the cause of the accident, only to discover surveillance footage that showed Mackenzie's vehicle flying down the road at an extremely high rate of speed. Not only did the authorities now have this footage to go by, but they also had statements from friends and family who described the tumultuous relationship between Mackenzie and Dominic, with some stating she'd threatened to get behind the wheel of her vehicle and crash it to end it all on more than one occasion. And that is exactly what the prosecution believed Mackenzie did. Drove her vehicle into a wall with Dominic and Davion as passengers to ensure that if she couldn't have Dominic, no one else could either. It appears that she acted out of rage and frustration, not thinking long-term about how this accident could take the lives of two innocent people. While building a case against Mackenzie, the prosecution discovered that during her brief stint in the hospital after the accident, Mackenzie and her mother were seeking employment with a modeling agency in Los Angeles. Prior to facing criminal charges, but after her release from the hospital, Mackenzie didn't appear to be the grieving girlfriend she wanted others to think she was as she attended concerts and Halloween parties while posting videos of her reckless behavior on social media platforms, such as TikTok. According to Mackenzie's mother, she didn't want to do things and was pushed to go out and have fun after experiencing something so traumatic. However, it seems the trauma of the car accident didn't have much of an impact on her as she posed for the camera while making TikTok clips saying things like, "I'm the one you die for," and "I'm not even cool. I'm just one of those girls who can do a lot of drugs and not die." Mackenzie Shirilla would eventually be charged with 4 counts of murder, 4 counts of felonious assault, aggravated vehicular homicide, drug possession, and possessing criminal tools. According to authorities, in addition to speeding and driving recklessly, which caused the death of 2 individuals, Mackenzie was also under the influence of THC at the time of the accident. During the trial, some doctors stated Mackenzie was remorseful for her actions and appeared ashamed of what transpired. Her lawyer attempted to make excuses for her, which included listing the possibility of her losing control without having the ability to come to a stop due to a health emergency. Despite attempting to paint her as a loving girlfriend who never meant to cause any harm while driving with her boyfriend and his good friend, the prosecution had evidence to back their claims of her carelessness. They stated that Mackenzie reportedly asked police if they could just take her license away for 10 years or something like that, instead of serving time for what she had done.
He overheard her make a statement, an admissible statement, and she said, "Dominic, I'm going to crash this car." We find that it is especially and important to her state of mind just 2 weeks later when she used a car to kill Dominic Rousseau.
After the crash, Strongsville police were notified that they had received concerning emails from the community that the defendant and her mother were seeking employment with the Los Angeles modeling agency. Mackenzie Shirilla said to Vitali, "Thank you for the comment. I would love to work with you guys. I've been emailing you guys a lot. Such a great opportunity. Thank you." Shortly after being released from the hospital, the police were provided additional videos of the defendant from her wheelchair as she attended a concert down in the Flats. And again, Your Honor, I'm introducing these to the court to show the shocking lack of remorse.
Halloween, for 3 months after the accident, she would only wear his clothes. She would only eat the snacks he ate. She would only listen to the music he wrote, okay? She was laying in bed for 3 months crying. So she was crying for 3 months. So her friends asked if she wanted to go out trick-or-treating or Halloween, and it was at OU. And she didn't even want to go. She said, "I don't know, should I go?" She couldn't even walk yet, barely. So I told her, I said, "Baby, please go."
I'm hearing an awful lot about your daughter. I'm not hearing very much about her.
Dominic, okay, I'm asking you for a leniency because this was a tragic accident that she does not remember. Davian, he's a new friend, and I'm so sorry.
Does that mean his life is worthless?
No. They all loved each other. They all spent every day together. You know what I mean? I don't know too much for him. Sorry?
Isn't that part of the problem? That they all trusted each other? Isn't that part of it?
It's not a problem at all. It was wonderful.
How they all ended up in the car together.
I'm not Davian. I'm so deeply sorry. I hope one day you can see I would never let this happen or do it on purpose. I wish I could remember what happened. I'm just so sorry. I'm heartbroken.
And all of their lives have been irrevocably changed because of the actions of the defendant. The unintended and collateral consequences of a selfish, intentional, and cruel decision by Mackenzie will ripple forever in time.
After a 4-day non-jury trial, Mackenzie was sentenced on August 21st to 15 years to life in prison with the possibility of parole, a sentence that Dominic's mother sees fit for someone who stole the life of her son, along with his best friend. On the other hand, Dominic's father says he doesn't want to see Mackenzie spend the rest of her life in prison, but agrees that a punishment is necessary for her careless act, whether intentional or not.
The video clearly shows the purpose and intent of the defendant. She chose a course of death and destruction that day. Exhibit 802 crystallizes the deadly decision-making of the defendant. She morphs from a responsible driver to literal hell on wheels as she makes her way down the street.
The defendant controlled all the events. She chose the day. Specifically, she chose a day just before her 18th birthday. She chose to drive the car, the time to drive the car. She chose an obscure, previously scouted route through an industrial parkway. She chose the target to hit and the victims.
No reasonable fact finder could view the totality of this evidence in this case and come to any other conclusion. Her actions were controlled, methodical, deliberate, intentional, and purposeful. This was not reckless driving. This was murder.
Court renders the following verdicts. Count 1. The court, having had count 1 tried to pursue to waiver, finds the defendant, Mackenzie Shirilla, guilty of murder to make Dominic Russo.
So, what do you all think? Did Mackenzie have some sort of health emergency that caused her to lose control of the vehicle, or did she purposely leave her foot on the gas, accelerate as fast as she possibly could, and crash into a wall to put an end to her relationship with Dominic once and for all? When asked to address the court, Mackenzie said, "I'm so deeply sorry. I hope one day you can see I would never let this happen or do it on purpose. The families of Dominic and Davion, I'm so deeply sorry. I hope one day you can see I would never let this happen or do it on purpose. I wish I could remember what happened." No matter what happened that morning, one thing is for sure. 2 young men lost their lives, leaving families, friends, and loved ones behind to grieve. As a result, Mackenzie, who was 19 years old and was 17 years old at the time of the crash, will serve the next 15 years of her life in prison before she becomes eligible for parole. Thank you all for joining us on this gripping journey through the darkest corners of the human psyche. If you enjoyed this video and want to uncover more spine-chilling tales, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. You won't want to miss a single episode. Remember, truth is often stranger than fiction, and our mission is to bring you the untold stories that lurk in the shadows. So, make sure you're subscribed to our channel to stay up to date with our latest investigations, in-depth analysis, and shocking revelations. Furthermore, if you have a thirst for more mysteries and unsolved cases, we've curated a playlist of our most compelling episodes just for you. Click on the screen to dive deeper into the dark abyss of human nature and explore the enigmas that continue to perplex us. Lastly, we want to express our deepest gratitude to our incredible community of true crime enthusiasts. Your passion, engagement, and comments fuel our determination to bring you the most compelling content. Together, we stand as seekers of truth in the face of darkness. As we conclude this chapter, remember to stay curious, stay vigilant, and stay safe.